Good evening, loves, and happy full moon eclipse in Gemini. It took me a little moment to get to you to deliver this reading, deliver the messages, because that was quite a ride for me. My moon is in Gemini, and I always find that when Gemini energy is in the air, it sure fries me. So Gemini energy is very talkative, very communicative, and as I already have my sun and rising in Virgo, I have a lot of Mercury, so there's a lot of talking, a lot of things to digest right now, for me particularly. So anyone else with that in your chart, you know what I'm talking about. So, wow, there's quite a lot of stuff coming through at first of all a full moon, and then a full moon eclipse, starting the eclipse season. So I will look at my notes to help me keep track of all the points that I'd like to touch with you today. I apologize for the congestion. I got a little a little cold. So yeah, first of all, Gemini. Gemini is the trickster, playful, curious air sign. And the thing that is coming through very much right now for me to talk about is the word magic, right? So being mindful of the words that we speak and the power that that has, and the stories we tell with those words, right? So this is one of the themes that has really been coming through and influencing me at this moment as well. And it's something to be mindful of, to recognize when also we're getting lost in thoughts, lost in story, and how much the quality of our words are affecting our states. Also getting lost in that and taking away from the embodied experience that we're having in this moment, you know. So grounding back into the body. Right now is a great time to do a lot of grounding practices. It always is, but particularly when we're in air signs, right? So yes, the full moon eclipse often can bring sudden changes and conclusions, a sort of like peak of some kind of a situation. And the conclusions, so Coyote Spirit wanted to come in and talk a little bit, which is totally appropriate since it is the trickster, you know. Talking with that Gemini energy, I had a coyote walk by, which is not, you know, every day that you see a coyote. And so, of course, I looked into the message, and in my spirit animal deck, we got coyote here, and it's talking about trusting in divine detours. And so linking it up with this full moon eclipse of, you know, change and maybe conclusions. So maybe you had this story or this idea of how things should go or how we wanted things to go, and all of a sudden, whoops, it's not quite that. And it's an invitation to trust that that which is meant for us will come to us at the right time, you know. And so to surrender a little bit, and also to have some humor in that. Like Gemini and Coyote energy, it's very playful, trickster, you know, laugh at yourself, you know, not to take it so seriously. And that's a wonderful medicine, you know, anytime, but especially right now, when maybe we're having a lot of mental activity, especially those who have Gemini, you know, in your chart. There's also a aspect of the full moon eclipse that highlights our shadow self and reminds us to take a look at that. Take a look at working with our darkness. So we've got the Lovers in the tarot. And this one is the card that is related to Gemini. So Gemini, the dualistic aspect, the polarity aspect, right? The yin yang, right? And so the Gemini energy here is talking about a mirror effect, right? So we see the Lovers here looking, you know, in one another's direction, and we can see that as, you know, a man and a woman, or two people, but it's always a mirror play, right? So whatever we see in others that we, you know, desire or or are kind of repulsed by, it's always a mirror as to what we desire in ourselves, like what we strive for in ourselves and what we push away in ourselves. And so in relation to this shadow work, it's really talking about looking at the aspects of ourselves that we reject, the aspects of ourselves that this story about ourselves, you know, the like whatever story got wrapped around those hurt places and those shadow aspects. And instead of painting it all black or pushing it away or rejecting it, to invite it in, and even to just kind of be curious, or even kind of be a little humorous about it, you know, to alleviate the density and the heaviness of that. So the Lovers invites us into relationship, right? It invites us into the capacity to unify opposites, to unify the polarities, to and then that means all parts of ourselves, right? All the light and the dark, and all the rejected and the celebrated, and just bringing it all together. And again, with that playful, trickster, curious Gemini and Coyote energy, helping to create some space and to alleviate that heaviness that we can feel with that. So that's the medicine coming through. I know for me it was very hard hitting at first, and I'm only starting to find some lightness now. I did some grounding practices today, so yes, highly recommend the grounding practices, and highly recommend finding the lightness and the humor and the surrender to the divine, the surrender to the divine will, that maybe whatever it is not meant for me. The lightness and the humor in like, oh yeah, that part of myself, like it doesn't have to be so, doesn't have to be painted like a monster. It could just be like, oh, like that sweet part that is like acting like that, haha, or taking also that really important step back and step out of the storyline and the words, and like really paying attention to the words and the way that we're telling our story. So it's an invitation to really examine what it is that we want to tell in our story, like if there's situations that are closing up, or looking to the past, there's some kind of conclusion energy going on too. So it's like to look at that and to find empowerment in our story about that, to find the wisdom and to find the gratitude for what we were able to learn and grow from that story, and to look at our story now and the one that we're living now and the one that we're looking to create. So how can we find that space, that lightness, that play, because life is divine play. How can we find that play in the story and the words that we want to use, the language, the way that we express and communicate, to weave and to create a story going forward that is in alignment with really what we truly desire, what we truly want to live, because we are creators. We are creating in every moment those stories. But the most important thing, of course, always is to be in the present, right? So even to move beyond the story and to ground in the body and the sensations, in your environment, to be one with, and to not let the story get in the way of the direct experience, as that is the most important thing, right? At every moment. So I hope that you're living this smoothly, and that you're taking really great care of yourselves. Riding that wave with you. Sending so much love.